this is Nick Leatherland from Pegasus Property Group. We're a property development company based in Stoke-on-Trent. I'm one of the directors, along with John Colclough. Together we have 13 years of property development experience. We specialise in HMOs, new builds, commercial to residential conversions. We've currently got 12 projects under renovation with a GDV of £4 million. So we've got approximately about 40 builders that work for us as subcontractors, etc. And we've got 4 full-time employees at the minute. So we're a growing company. We've been going for about 12 months now. So I wanted to just do a video series. We've got 450 YouTube subscribers currently, and our videos tend to be based around basic property development tips, etc. So this series that I want to do now is going to focus more on the development side of the actual business. I've done videos on how to stack deals, I've done videos on how to do finishes on properties, things like that. But I notice there's not really any videos out there which focus more on kind of like a step-by-step process, beginning to end, on actually what happens when you buy a property and you want to develop that property. What's the process? So this is what this video is aimed at. So I've got some notes in front of me, so I can't remember everything. So I'm going to break this down into probably 5 parts. So this is part 1. So part 1 is focused on what's the process once you've actually seen a property that you want to buy. So part 1, finding the project. So once you've actually found a project that you potentially are interested in purchasing, however you find that, be it online or through a sourcer, or maybe you do some on-the-ground marketing, leaflet drops, all that kind of thing. You found a project that potentially is going to work for you. You need to go and view the property, and you need to make relevant notes whilst you're there. You don't want to be going too many times. You want to go once or twice, and that's it really, because you don't want to be bothering the agents too much, or if the viewing's with a vendor, you might want to be going there constantly and asking questions. So we personally try and get in and out in one hit if we can. So when we go there, we make all the relevant notes that we need to make. We do due diligence on the area. So obviously I know my area quite well, so I know what streets to buy in, what streets not to buy in, what areas are good and bad, etc. So if you can gather that information yourself, either if it's an area that's unfamiliar to you, asking local people is a really good way to go. Obviously, they know a lot of stuff. That could be a case of even just knocking on the neighbours' houses and saying, hey, I'm interested in buying this property. This is who I am, this is what I do, here's my business card, kind of thing. Can you give me some information about the surrounding area? We do that quite a lot, and people tend to be quite forthcoming with information, especially if you get a bit of a nosy neighbour type person. They'll tell you a lot of stuff. So that's a bit of due diligence on the area. You can do things as well, like going online and you can look at census, a sensor of the area, how many people live there, what the crime rate's like, all that kind of information. Quite often I go on Google Maps and I actually draw lines from where the property is to where the nearest supermarket is, or the nearest employer, or places like that, and that gives me a distance of how long it would take to walk there, and that kind of gives me an indication of, from a practical sense, is somebody actually going to want to live in this property. If it's a 20-minute walk to the nearest supermarket and they don't drive, then maybe not. So there are things to take into consideration. When you're there, you want to take notes on things like room sizes. Now you can buy a laser measurer, and they're relatively cheap. You can pick one up for £20 to £25 from Screwfix or somewhere like that, B&Q. It allows you just to quickly take dimensions of rooms. If you are looking to convert something to a HMO, that's quite important because you've got minimum room sizes and all these kinds of things that you need to abide by. Sometimes if you're buying a property through an online estate agent or whatever, they might have floor plans. However, the floor plans aren't normally very accurate. They're normally just generic ones that they download and put on the website. So if you go and do your own measurements, it's really quick and easy to do it with a laser measurer. I've actually done a video purely for taking laser measurements. So if you subscribe to the channel, that's on there somewhere. Yeah, make a floor plan. I make floor plans on floorplanner.com. That's quite easy to use. It's very user friendly. So I make all my floor plans on there, and you can also do 3D rendered floor plans, and you can put furniture in the bathrooms, all that kind of stuff, and you can have a play around with it and figure out what you're going to do. So yeah, another thing is the layout good? If you want to convert it into a HMO, the layout needs to be right. We buy a lot of end terrace Victorian properties because they have a good layout, and you can actually normally, I'll put one on the screen now so you can see what I mean, that you can normally walk from the front door through to the back reception room without going through any of the front or middle reception rooms, which means you can turn those into bedrooms, and then the back reception room becomes the communal space with the kitchen, and then you get your bedrooms upstairs, and thus you get a 5 to 6 bedroom HMO, nice and easy. So that's quite important. If you do a mid-terrace property where you have to walk through the reception rooms to get to the kitchen at the back, you can actually maybe flip the staircase around, just the bottom part of the staircase, so you can access it from the front room rather than the middle reception room. Again, I'll put some floor plans on the screen now so you can see what I mean. But it's possible to do that, and that allows you to actually make a downstairs bedroom in the middle reception room, and it means you can access the stairs from the front room, and it also means you don't have to move the electric or gas meters, because legally you can't have those in a lockable room. So if you try to put a bedroom at the front of the house, it wouldn't really work. You'd have to spend some money to move the meters. So a cheaper alternative is that you make the middle room the bedroom, and the front room remains the front room, and you just move the staircase around. It's not mega expensive to do that. That's a good way of doing a mid-terrace. And then, yeah, once you've had a quick look round, obviously this kind of comes down to experience. I can walk around the property and I can kind of do a finger in the air quote, so to speak. I can look at things and say, well, I know how much a damp-proof course will cost, I know how much a rewire is, I know how much a heating system costs. So I can put some preliminary numbers together and work out roughly how much I think it would cost to renovate that property. This allows me to do a spreadsheet where I can stack the deal. So I can get the purchase price, what I think the rental income will be. I can put down what I think the conversion cost will be, the renovation cost, and that means I know if the deal's going to stack or not. I'm always conservative with those numbers, because if you're not conservative and you make the numbers too good to be true, then when it actually comes down to investing in that project, you're probably going to lose money, because things always tend to cost more than you think they're going to cost. So yeah, once you've kind of done an initial stack on that deal, if it stacks up nicely, I'll normally go for a second viewing, and this will be where I'm very serious about buying it now. I want to speak to the vendor, I want to know all the information. I'm going to take my builder with me, who's going to do a proper quote on it this time. And if all the numbers are good and it works, I'll put my offer in, and then I'll purchase the property. So that's the end of part one. Part two is going to focus on leading up to the completion date and what you do to actually prepare yourself for the project beginning. We're going to talk about how you set up your CDM 2015, which is health and safety. We're going to talk about how to find a good builder, how you pay that builder, what method you use to pay them, JCT contracts, which you've got fixed term contracts, you've got an open book, all these different contracts. I'm going to talk about spec, finishes. I'm going to talk about the actual process for renovating the property, so rip out, first fix, second fix, all that kind of stuff. And then finally at the end I'm going to talk about finishing a high-end product and marketing it so you can sell it or rent it quickly. There'll be lots of talk about regulations, HMO conversions, commercial to residential conversions, new builds, etc. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. Please tune in to the next video, which I'll probably do in the next week or two. I'm Leatherland from Pegasus Property. Thank you.